5-year deal. And the same thing for Spice to be 5 years.
വാവേ ഇവിടെ നിന്ന് നമ്മുടെ ഷിപ്പ് ഫുള്ളായിട്ട് കിട്ടും. ഇങ്ങോട്ട് നോക്കാം, എടുക്കട്ടെ ഫോട്ടോ.
Is the water high or low? Pretty low, pretty low. We've had a pretty big drought this summer. Not a lot of rain. Now look out the front of the coach on the wires and see if you can see a nest. Is there a nest up there? Now it could be a bald eagle's nest. That's all a marsh right there. When the tide's out, it's a way out, but right now, it's high tide. When is high tide? High tide was 15 minutes ago. How high does it come up? Almost to the road. Now, who used those salt marshes? Well, those Acadian settlers did. They used to go ahead and dike them. In other words, they controlled the tide coming in, because that tide brings in lots of nutrients for that marsh. Makes it a very rich spot to grow crops on. However, if you let it come in and flood it every day, it's going to kill all the plants that are on it, so it's not so good. So, we're right up to the edge of the road. I guess we got a good high tide today.
Ooh.
How about that for a high tide, folks?
Wow.
As I said, high tide was just a few minutes ago, and it's right up to the road edge. Now in the wintertime, that water will be splashing out on the road, no question, because there's winter storms, and the coach will still go through. Be all right.
All you have to remember essentially is a funnel shape to the bay, very, very deep at the mouth, very, very shallow at the tip, narrowing its entire way in. And on top of that, we have a very specific length. When the tides are retreating or exiting our bay, it's a valve system without choking themselves out. They also can't burrow in the mud, so we won't see any shellfish down in this beach. That's why you don't see any seashells left behind. As well as the tides being very strong, anything that gets carried in typically gets carried out too. Snails, periwinkles, very, very common down on the beach here. Again, that mud shrimp is there all the time. But 1899, so about 110 years ago or so. And they're standing with their backs to the narrow side of Lover's Arch. That picture, through other photographs that we've gathered, has changed very little in 100 years. It looks almost exactly the same. But there is something missing. You might notice it just from comparing to this photograph now. This is the comparison to today, though. This was taken just last year, and the cameras were set up in the exact same position. That's the only standalone rock formation that's actually tumbled over in that 110 years. That one rock that's fallen over. And if you look closely, you can see, the mounds of stone have eroded and they're quite a bit shorter. A rock that we call pedestal rock over here lost its top around that same span of time. It happened somewhere around...
Hopewell, kai pudi papi.
The bottom, he's already down there.
You're holding up. No, mate.
Actually, the tide's been up. It's only going up. Not a word.
Hi, no kapo.
Oh, you can see some flowers. That's good. Very nice.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
I have to keep that, okay? I'll show you some more later.
താങ്ക് യു. നടന്നോട്ടെ ബാബേ, നടന്ന വീടത്തല്ലേ ഉള്ളൂ. ആ ആ ഷൂവും പോയി, സോക്സും പോയി. ഒപ്പിൽ അയാൾക്ക് നില്ലും ഉമ്മ ഫോട്ടോ എടുക്കട്ടെ.
It is, and I mean, any intervention we make could have some other repercussion down the road we're not aware of. Yes,
You see a lot more than we do, obviously.
but we are the site of some successful aquaculture. In cold aquaculture, we have what some control. Our tides help produce what we call lack of glass. The water level at the height of this artery is 18 feet. So that's the water down there. Why not get that? Depends on how low the low
Well, actually, we sweep across the beach. Just when it gets down to the lower arch, it's down quite a bit, and you can actually make your way to the other entrance where the steps are. But this wasn't going to happen today. We were lucky we were down. That's the only way to put it.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be about a foot a minute horizontally. It's a vertical flow.
I'm out of it.
പാവേ നിക്ക്, എടുക്കട്ടെ. ഒപ്പിലു
Stands for mud flats. There's mud flats there. That's the Irving oil part over there. There's where they were loading the ship.
Wow.
And the ship is still there, right on the dock. But look at the mud flats right up to it. Now, they have dredged the channel there, and that channel is pretty good, because we used to have a dry dock right across there. I pointed it out this morning with the green strip. Now, they closed that about the year 2000. Built the Canadian Navy there. Can't keep up. Can't compete with the Far East. It's too expensive to build ships here. Workers will want too much pay, that sort of thing. These are all cars that are going to go to